Um, hey, this is gonna be a video on transgender issues and the fucking assholes on the right and feminists and other people who don't support transgender people. I want to talk about a number of issues. The first one is trans kids because that's the more controversial issue and the issue I'm going to get over with right off the bat. Um, first off, first off, transgender people, transgender kids are not sexual. And this also goes for drag kids. I know drag kids are not transgender, but there's nothing necessarily inherently sexual about that. There's nothing sexual about gender expression and gender preference. If you don't look again, it comes down to this: you don't want your kid dressing as a girl. There's nothing I can do about that. But a lot of people let their kid kind of express themselves. Some kids like doing that. At the end of the day, there's nothing inherently sexual about that. It's none of your damn business. But I think, especially with transgender people, we know that the earlier you allow these people to express themselves, the better. Not allowing a transgender person to be who they are can result in them killing themselves. We know that it has happened, and I'll give you an example. But the right wing in general are just absolutely full of shit about trans issues. And at first, it was like with trans kids, for example, where they're taking estrogen that can destroy themselves, that can destroy them. Like they're taking estrogen, so estrogen can destroy them. Or estrogen can be very bad for them and have on effect. Okay, fine. And then when it's drag kids, well, they're being sexualized. Again, no one's sexualizing them but you. You're putting goddamn your connotation on that. You're making that into something what you think it is. That's not necessarily what their parents think it is. That's not what other people think it is. And you're trying to judge for these people what's good for them. And you do the same thing with adults. And that goes into other trans issues. With Alex Jones, for example, who says he's never anti-trans, but he's anti-trans kid. He's anti-drag kid. He's anti these people that have gender dysphoria. It's the same damn thing with for example, sports. When he took the side of a feminist who was supposed to be an LGBT rights activist because she's a lesbian, the minute it comes down to a group other than lesbians, and it was down up to her to choose to either support trans people or not, she questions whether or not they should be in the damn shit. She pretty much tries to get trans people kicked out of female sports, and then he takes her side over trans people. And he even says they should, in order for a transgender person to be in female sports, they should have to be castrated. Not all transgender people are have a sex change, if that's what he's targeting. But again, not all do that. Some do, some don't. And if you're taking estrogen, then not only do you have less testosterone than a female, you do. Not only do you have less testosterone than a male, you have less testosterone than a female. You also can have health issues, and some of these people have bone loss issues because long-term estrogen use by males can have significant negative side effects on them. So you're already at a disadvantage, not an advantage. And first of all, that's the truth. Second of all, he says he's not against gays, and this is the same guy that said the juice boxes would make it freaking frogs gay, and then he tried to say it was about breast cancer. No, man, you did say it was about so it could cause you to be suicidal, but you also said that. But initially, you were trying to say that they were trying to turn people gay, and he's the same guy that he says soy sauce makes men less masculine, less macho, because he's such a fucking macho guy himself. A guy named Alice, a fat guy named Alice from Texas. He's really macho. But the point is, every time it comes down to a transgender issue, he's always against the transgender person, but he's not anti-trans. When it was, again, trans kids, estrogen use is destroying them. When it's drag kids, they're being sexualized. Then when it's transgender people using the bathroom, he was against that because people could use the bathroom as a way to spawn girls because us men were such fucking perverts who can't control ourselves. You know how we are. And rink, rink, I'm being sarcastic. And then of course, when it's transgender people in sports, well, the women can't compete against them. They're at a disadvantage. And any goddamn issue transgender people are involved with, he just so happens to be against the shit. And it's pretty obvious to me, a lot of these fucking assholes are just fucking anti-LGBT. And it has nothing goddamn do with any kind of real morality, real values, real political statement. They just don't like transgender people. That's all this shit is. It's the same old conservative cocksuckers, as always, doing the same old conservative fucking bullshit. Is nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. And feminists, like feminists who said, for example, there was one group that wanted there was a conference, a lesbian conference, and feminists wanted there was a group of feminists trying to keep transgender lesbians out of that conference because the conference, the lesbians that ran the conference said that transgender people could be involved. And they said this group of radical feminists wanted to keep them out. And I remember this. And I actually talked about this on Twitter before they fucked me over. And here's the thing. Again, so are you saying, first of all, here's the thing. And I think most feminists would say the transgender people are female. You would agree with that. So if are female, so here's the question. So here's the question. Are transgender people female or not? If you identify as a female, are you a female? Are these male to female transgender people female? And if so, then they are lesbians, correct? So are they female or not? And if so, then what the fuck is your problem? And again, there's nothing liberal about that. There's nothing liberal about an ideology that is so obsessed with the genitals and with themselves that they work overnight and they work overtime trying to keep out every specific group that is not completely like them. And so that was bullshit. And there's a number of issues that are just complete absolute bullshit that transgender fucking people in this country have to go through. It's the same thing for gay people. And you have to remember, it's not been it's not even been a decade now. Probably it might have been 7, 8 years since we've allowed gays to even get married and adopt children in this country nationwide. We weren't even allowing that. And that is certainly a group of people who have been very oppressed that I support. That is not a privileged theory. That is not a token kind of argument. That's not an argument. That's not anything like some of these other issues are, where a lot of the left ringers use it to make bank. This ain't making bank. These people really are fucked over and they need help. And they get fucked again and again and again. And some of them are some more mentally disturbed people in some cases. And a lot of them kill themselves and they commit suicide. Transgender suicide rates are higher than any other male, and males' suicide rates, by the way, are higher than any other group. But gays and transgender people kill themselves at a far greater rate, and they go through a lot of shit, and it's not okay. And now I think it's probably more female to male, but transgender people, either way, are not being allowed in the military, and that's something I don't agree with Trump on. And they're getting fucked over, and I don't support that, and I don't like that, and I support transgender people, and I just wanted to make a video about something, and that's what I made the video about. So, P666.